You know what? fuck it. Let's just start. It's late and I'm tired. Let's just get on with it. That whole 10-minute thing is usually for Twitch to get time to, like, tell everybody that there's a stream going on, but I don't think that many people are gonna be tuning in at this hour, and I'm just sitting around here staring at my screen like, why the hell am I watching this water flow crap, whatever. Let's just get down to it, because I was only expecting to talk to myself anyway. All right. Yeah, it's supposed to be one of those late night streams where I go, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the late night. But I'm just not. I'm enthusiastic enough that I really want to do this stream because I'm so excited about this airport. But on the same time, I'm like tired. But I really wanted to like do this because I am really impressed with, why is my helicopter keep jumping forward like that? That's like the third time it's done that, and that's getting annoying. I don't know if it's the eye point or what. Let's see here. Is there something that's like... Where's the collective on this damn thing? Are we at 100? Let me just make sure. I can't even spin it. All right. Anyway, this thing's doing some weird thing where it keeps lurching forward. But anyway, I really wanted to do this stream because I'm really excited about this particular airport. This thing's been in development for a long time, since 2012. There it goes again, lurching forward. Let me see something real quick. Sorry. Let me try to figure out why it's lurching like that. I did a stream of Mega Airport Frankfurt this morning with the same helicopter, no less, and I was not having that problem. Let me just try something and see if that will fix it. Let's see it. We'll see if it happens again. I remember when this project first came out, or not first came out, but when it was first announced. This was back during the old AirDailyX blog. Oh, that's why it was lurching forward. The frame rates were so high that they were like pushing up to 100 because there's just nothing out here. So yeah, the frame rates were screaming. They were just like, they were going crazy. That's why I kept lurching forward like that. So I limited the frames to 60, which was a bad idea at Prague, but hopefully it's not going to be a bad idea here. And I remember the first screenshot, when the first screenshot of this airport was shown by the developer, and I really don't know his name, but he goes by, I think, Jetman or something like that over on FS Developer. And once I saw the first shot, I was like, wow, this is going to be good. This is one of those new independent developers. It's on FS Developer, so maybe it'll get released one day. Maybe it won't. I'll hedge my bet. But I was really impressed with it. And this was in 2012. This was a long time ago. And, as projects on FS Developer do, it just disappeared and kind of like faded away. And I guess we just never knew if anything was ever going to come of it until, I think sometime last year when the developer started showing off previews again. So, hope was back. I don't know if it was last year or earlier this year that the previews started coming out, but there was hope again for this project, and I'm really excited that this developer finished. And I guess I should mention the project that I'm talking about, which is Marsa Alam, the independent project Marsa Alam, which has been released under FS Development Group, FSDG. And one of the great things about that, of course, is you get great support. It's a web shop, of course, you trust. And then, of course, it comes with the FSDG configuration tool as well. There's only a couple of options in the configuration tool. I forgot what the other one was. I think it has something to do with ramp clutter or something like that. But the other option was to do with this large photoreal coverage area surrounding the airport. And so you get an option of either light or dark. And I chose the dark textures because with prepared in high noon, everything just looks washed out. And right now, I'm actually a little bit on the late afternoon side, the time of day that I have here. And the reason for that is because even with the dark color selected, I still found that the photoreal textures were still washed out. So it's like really bright, and that's just something with prepared, and there's only really so much you can really do about that. But Nevertheless, I chose the darker photoreal, just to kind of make it look as depth, have as much depth as possible. So you do have that option there. But yeah, I mean, this is it's 2:42 in the morning for me, and by all intents and purposes, I should be in bed. I'm usually up around this hour anyway because I'm just kind of I tend to stay up late for all of our European friends who are just waking up or at work and looking for news, and that allows me to kind of get news up during the European time zones, as opposed to me kind of waking up later on and then getting news late for them, but on time for, for the U.S. and stuff like that. So I don't really think about Australia. Sorry, Misha, but your guys' time is just so out of whack. You just get the news when you get the news. But nevertheless, I really wanted to applaud this developer for finally getting this thing out, because it's not an incredibly big scenery at all. But for as small as it is, I have to say, I mean, I took a brief look at it because I had to rush off to work earlier, and so I downloaded it and I jumped in for 2 seconds, and in that 2 seconds, like, I was floored. I was blown away. So this is going to probably be one of those streams where I'm going to probably have to try and see if I can find something wrong with the scenery, because I think this is one of those where I don't think I'm going to be able to. My original plan was to start off at Sharm el Sheikh and then fly over, because Sharm el Sheikh, also by FSDG, is not that far away. I think it's like 200 miles, a little bit to the northeast. And I wanted to start there, but for some reason I had trouble installing it. I was getting an error message on the installer. So I thought that'd be great to do a little flight from there, but unfortunately that didn't work out, I'm afraid. But nevertheless, I just grabbed the helicopter and dropped it in, and here we are. So one of the things, as we now enter the scenery coverage area, that I was pleased to see is that, oh shoot, some of these buildings are floating. I was just getting ready to say I was pleased to see that some of these cities were added. These really nice looking buildings, but some of these buildings are actually floating above the terrain. That's not good. Let me see here. Are these buildings really floating? I think they are. I don't know if that's an elevation issue on my rig or what that's about. I need to look into that. Ooh, yeah, they are floating. Interesting thing about these palm trees, very nice looking palm trees. Some of these palm tree models look just like the palm tree models in Taxi to Gate and one of Taxi to Gate's Caribbean sceneries. The objects look very similar. I'm not sure if those are default trees in FS, but they look very similar. Very interesting. Loving the buildings. Very, very nice. Little water masking there with on this little kind of like, I guess that'd be like a little oasis pond or something like that. This is really more of a kind of a resort destination, so I'm assuming that's what that is. Looks very nice. And, again, there's not really much to see flying out here, but just miles and miles and miles of desert. So it's a good thing that, there was a little bit of eye candy sort of added. There's also some street lights out here, too, kind of following some of these roads in. And Stork is asking, am I in California? Indeed I am. I am on Pacific time. And Crawley is saying that his stream is freezing occasionally. I don't know. I couldn't answer to that. Had a big stream earlier today with Mega Airport Frankfurt, and that went over quite well. So, good question. Coming over here and taking a look at some more of these little resort areas and buildings. I mean, very nicely done. Buildings are very, very crisp. This has all the feelings of what I imagine this place would be like in real life. It's very, very sort of desert-like oasis vacation type destination is what it looks like. It's very cool. You know, and it's, as far as destination goes, I mean, you're not really far from all the available Mediterranean destinations that are out there. And additionally, like I said, you have Sharm el Sheikh, you have Cairo from, I think it's SDG, who developed that. And then if you want to go a little bit further down, of course, you can head down to Dubai, a little bit further away, but certainly there's a lot of destinations. And I think ultimately the great thing is that we have more destinations for Africa just in general. But Sharm el Sheikh, just like, Marsa Alam, just like Sharm el Sheikh, represent two really lovely sort of vacation destinations for Egypt. Not sure how good the vacation market is right now in Egypt, but there are certainly some very wonderful places to visit. Look at this writing on the wall over here. This looks really cool. I'm trying to see what that is. Port Ghalib, Red Sea, Egypt. Nice. So this area is Port Ghalib. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. I'm sure I have to roll that H a little bit. And here we have a nice yacht. I think this is one of the default FSX shots. I don't think I've ever seen like smoke coming out of those things before. Let's see if we can land on the helipad there. You notice when I'm trying to concentrate when I start getting quiet. Ooh. You know, there's something about the eye point in FSX or in Prepared that's different from FS9, where I'm never where I seem to think I am. Like I thought I was above the pad, but I wasn't. So see, and I'm still not above the pad, which is weird. I'm shocked to see that that isn't hardened, though. I'm really shocked. I'm shocked. That should be a hardened pad. That kind of sucks. Another thing too, I think one of the good things, I think that was 29 Palms with Mykonos. I think he had some custom yachts kind of going around the area there, and they were animated yachts, and you could actually land on those animated yachts, which is pretty cool. Landing on a moving object, that's of course lots of fun. And just taking a look at some of these buildings here, again, very nicely done, and I think they definitely capture the feel and immersion of this sort of oasis. So yes, I probably don't sound as enthusiastic as I usually do during live streams, but I got home really, really late, and kind of a difficult day, but I couldn't get to bed without streaming this. I really wanted to be able to see this and show it off. And for those who are going to watch this later on YouTube, you're probably going to wonder why the stream didn't start when it was supposed to, or when I initially posted, and that's because I put the wrong time. I put I think 18:30 Zulu or something instead of 9:30 Zulu or something like that. So I put the wrong time, but this was when I initially intended to stream it, so sort of just for the record there, in case anyone wonders, wow, I missed it, and then they wake up and then they wonder why they missed it. That's why. This was always meant to be a kind of a middle of the night stream. And Crawley's asking, do I have vehicle shadows turned off? He noticed it was off at Frankfurt. Yes, I generally tend to turn off shadows for live streams. You'll also notice cloud shadows are off as well. I think for a scenery of this size, we can turn on a lot of those additional options, but OBS doesn't tend to like all that stuff on. It tends to put an additional hammering on my system. But you're probably looking at a blank screen. Give me just a second. I'll turn on some of these additional lighting. Let's see here. Turn on some shadows here. Give me just a second. I think with the scenery that is this small, I think we shouldn't have any problems turning on some of this extra stuff here. I'm not even sure if road vehicles are running on any of those roads down there, but I'll just turn those on just in case and see if there's much of a difference. Let's see. Holy crap, Amos is here. Whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Amos, it is 2:53, and I think just before you popped in, I was telling everyone that the time that I actually posted on Air Daily X is not the time that I initially planned to stream. The time that I initially planned to stream is actually right now. I put the wrong time up, so my fault. But I guess that's good if you're able to catch it before your drive out to Dusseldorf, huh? All right, so I've turned on the Actually, I've turned on water. You know, the water actually doesn't tend to look all that great when you turn it up too high. I'm actually going to turn that back down. Let's go back to display here. And yeah, that water is like maybe just a little too detailed. And I think I was going to adjust something else here. All right, let's try that. All right, so now we've got some of the shadows on here. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to turn it off. You can see now it's getting pretty stuttery and the frame rates have dropped quite a bit. Yeah, when it comes to streaming and turning on all these additional features, it just doesn't work out very well when broadcasting. Maybe other people, when they're broadcasting, they have a different experience, but I found that it just doesn't really seem to work with me. Let's try one more thing here. Yeah, it's dragging my frame rates down to like double, like almost single digits here. So I'm gonna actually turn that off. So I know in streams you guys like to see it with all those fancy features, but that's something you're gonna have to do without for streams. Really, the point is the focus on the scenery itself rather than the platform's features. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that back off because that's hitting me a little bit too hard. Maybe when the next system arrives, it'll handle having this stuff on with broadcasting at the same time. But yeah, broadcasting software is just a real pain in the ass. It's really no joke. Okay. So we're gonna go back to that. So not quite at the airport yet, but you can see these lovely little surrounding areas. These very nice little resorts that have been added here. I think there's another small town just a little bit further up the coast. Let's head up there and take a quick look at that. This won't be a very long stream, obviously, because the senior area is fairly small. So it won't be a terribly long stream, but it'll be short and sweet. Oh, you know what? I've got to change the frames back down to 60. Sorry, give me a second here. So usually these late night streams for me are the ones where I've got, you know, the deep, dark, sexy voice and all that. But today I'm just really tired. I don't know. There looks like this would have been a mansion or some kind of resort over here or something like that. I wonder why that wasn't included. I just see the photo reel there, but there's no resort on top of that. I wonder why that wasn't added. That's a good question. Marsa Alam really is just kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe that's the reason why it's a vacation destination, because it's like in a part of Egypt that's so far remote that there probably isn't much concern with maybe some of the the more recent issues and stuff going on, like around Cairo and all that. Maybe that's why. The same thing with like Sharm el Sheikh. Maybe there's a reason why these destinations are like really remote and like way out there in the middle of nowhere. Maybe so the Western tourists can feel more safe. I don't know. I just wonder why that is. Because you come out here and there's really no towns or anything that I can think of. It looks like it's just these remote resorts, and even the actual like city of Sharm el Sheikh, I think, is still several miles south. Either several miles south or several miles north of the airport itself. So these deserts are like really remote. And just as a reminder, this is the FSDG Marsa Alam. And the developer, I guess I should have looked at the manual. I could have actually pulled up his name. I'm not sure if he is joining FSDG as a kind of a permanent developer. I think it'd be great because, again, based on the work that he's done here, and we're going to see very shortly, he's highly talented. And I think definitely the community, it would be a loss to the community even after this first release if he didn't decide, or if he decided not to do anything else. So I certainly hope he sticks around, and certainly FSDG is a very good team to be a part of. I guess my only hope would be that if he does continue to develop, that the development period would not be as long as this, because again, just to remind you, this has been in development since 2012. So this has been in development for a long time. This little town over here has gotten a lot less treatment. No fancy palm trees over here on this side. Just the buildings here. And Chris says, good morning, D. I flew into the area in P3D being just a fault, and there was absolutely nothing to look at. Just a building with an AI airplane. These guys really put out all the stops when adding surrounding areas. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. And that's why I said I was really glad that he took the time to add all this stuff in, because otherwise there would be literally nothing to see when you're flying out here, even if he had just done the airport. So adding these little resorts and these little towns and buildings, I mean, this is really kind of the icing on the cake. It truly is for this scenery project. It is the icing on the cake. As far as performance goes, you won't have anything to worry about. I had to limit my frames to 60 because for some reason the aircraft keeps lurching forward, because the frames keep lurching forward when they go from 70, and then they'll hit like 100 and then bounce back to 70. And so I've locked them at 60. But yeah, if you're one of those people who limit your sceneries based on what your computer can handle, you're going to have a good time here. That's for sure. You're going to have a great time up here. So, interesting choice for helicopter for today's stream. I thought I'd try something different and fun. So, this is the Nimitz BF-105. I flew it the Red Bull acrobatic version in the earlier stream today, and I don't know, I'm still on this kick. Every now and then I get like on a specific kick of certain aircraft, and then once I'm on that kick, I just kind of like stick with that until I get bored with it, and then I start flying something else. So, terrific little helicopter. Haven't heard from Nimitz in a while. Hope all is well on the Nimitz front. Hoping that we're going to hear from something, a release from them soon. And I thought we'd turn around and kind of line up the helicopter on this little road here, kind of leading up to the airport. Is that a little town there that I missed, or did I get that one? I feel like I didn't even get that one, huh? There's so many of them. I'll leave that for you guys to kind of explore on your own. No need to explore. I mean, there's obviously not a whole lot, so you'll have a little bit of something to kind of explore on your own. Let's go ahead and make our way up here to the airport entrance. Oh, Crawley, that's nice. He says, with the exception of Orbix, I always watch Air Daily X before I purchase. It's interesting. I was watching a stream with Jordan King the other day. He was streaming, I think it was the Dovetail Flight School, and I was pointing out some similarities. No, it wasn't Dovetail Flight School. It was the Aerofly FS2 simulator, which I think has some serious potential. And he was streaming kind of like the early access version of it. It's not at a point where I'm ready to purchase it yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the end result will be. But there was a little section there where he was flying over San Francisco. And the city of San Francisco was like probably the best cityscape scenery that I've probably ever seen, aside from like Fly Tampa Dubai. And what I thought, and one of the things I pointed out was, I said, man, this thing is like way better than that, that Aerosoft US Cities thing. I'm not a fan of the LimeSim US Cities. I kind of see it as a kind of a lazy effort, because the buildings lack detail, and in many of the sceneries they don't light up at night. So that was kind of a, I don't really bother with any of those sceneries because of that, for that very reason. But one of the things that someone pointed out is, they said, wow, you seem to be more vocal about negative things when you're watching a stream as opposed to when you're doing one. And the moral of that story was, well, I don't stream things that I think suck. I mean, that's just kind of the bottom line. I mean, there are certain things that just isn't really worth my time to stream. So lest anyone think that, all of my streams are biased and I never have anything negative to say. I think my streams are very opinionated, and I point out the things that I think are good, and I point out the things that I don't like in every stream that I do. And if something is just damn good, then it's just damn good. I got nothing to say about it. I mean, it really is as simple as that. In the case of all of my streams, a lot of people, just like what Crawley was saying, is I don't buy a stream until I see it on Air Daily X. But one of the things is I'm going to determine if a certain product is going to be worth my time before I even bother with a stream. And if I don't think it is, then chances are I won't. So anyway, we're taking a look at this lovely entrance here. I mean, look at the texture quality on that. I mean, that is some serious texture work there. I am really impressed with that. Very nicely done. I know Orbix developer Misha is hanging around in there somewhere. I'm curious as to his impression. Let's continue to make our way down the road here. And the great thing about FSDG is they've been kind of on a really good roll lately in terms of airports. They've been working on really doing stuff that no other developer is really thinking about, that is like a gem. For example, like Nook up in Greenland. I mean, who the hell is thinking about flying up to Greenland? Seriously. But FSDG said, you know what? We're going to make that airport way out in the middle of nowhere, Greenland. And this scenery would probably be the exact opposite of Nook, to be honest. I mean, you've got just bitter freezing cold, and then down here you've got nice heat, desert, middle of nowhere. Just stuff that other people really aren't thinking of, or like Paro, for example, which was another good one. So that's a great thing about FSDG is they're filling in the kind of these little voids, these niche voids, but they're doing it with just impeccable quality. So that's one of the things that I love about FSDG. They're going after stuff that no one else is really thinking about, and they're doing it in high quality. Usually certain developers that are doing things that no one else is thinking about is probably not going to be the best quality, but at least it fills the role, sort of thing. But in this case with FSDG, I mean, they are just killing it one after another. And Chris is even reminding me where he says Graz is a must-buy. And I did do a stream on Graz as well, and that's another airport that I am really impressed with as well. I was really happy with Graz. And here we have a little animated vehicle down here. I didn't know there were animated vehicles coming out here. That's nice. When I turned on my vehicle traffic, I did notice that there were some cars driving around But I was just assuming those are just the default FSX vehicles. So it's nice to see now that we're over here in the actual airport area, we have some custom vehicles here. Marsa Alarm with 100 direct flights a week from 87 destinations, and I think that's the little area we were looking at earlier with the boats and ships and stuff. So we'll definitely have to make it a point to come back at night and take a look at some of those vehicles. I mean vehicles. Oh my God, it's getting late. And take a look at some of those towns and cities and see how they're lit up. Oh shoot, it's getting late. My brain is starting to shut down. That's I really wish I sounded more enthusiastic than I sound because I'm just tired. But there's no way I was going to get to bed without seeing the scenery. And I really liked my first impressions to be recorded live. It's one thing to already have completely poured over an airport, and then by the time I do a stream, it's like, well, he's already seen it. And it's kind of cool because I am getting the first impression the same time you're getting the first impression. So it's kind of like we're sharing the moment together. Now, those of you who know me and things that I tend to point out in my streams is parking lots. And developers, take note, this is how you do a fucking parking lot. Look at that shit. Just look at it. That is a parking lot. That is a parking lot. That is how you do parking lots. I beat up on Jivitsky Design again, who recently released Baku, and there was a lot that was done right in that airport, but there was just so much that could have been done better. And I keep pointing out, when you have airport projects that are so small, why not take the extra time and really just add the little extra bits of detail? I mean, look at this. You've got the ground markings here. What are these signs here? You've got these little signs, which I'm assuming are maybe little bus companies. I know I'm going to hit this light pole here, but I want it to get kind of close here. I'm assuming these are maybe bus signs for certain bus companies or something like that. Oh no, these are destinations. I see. I recognize that logo from the other building. So I guess you stand in front of one of those signs and that's where that bus is going to take you to. But, I mean, this is how you do a freaking parking lot. Shit, look at that. This is how it's done. This is just great. I mean, look at you even have the curb here and the different colorations from the footpath versus the tarmac where the vehicles operate. There's a little Coke machine. I mean, this is I know I'm gonna spend some time in the freaking parking lot, but this is how a parking lot should look. And I mean, again, when you have a scenery that's this small, why not make every single effort to make all of it look good? That way, you don't leave someone like DeAndre kind of wondering, you know, did you just like get lazy in one area and then do the other area, or what? Like, why isn't it thorough from front to back, side to side, inside and out? You know, I'm a man of liking to see my projects that I utilize. I like to see when a thorough job has been done. And here, absolutely. Let's get a little bit closer up to the building here. In fact, let's switch to the first person's perspective. I really want to get up to those building textures there and take a look at that texture baking. So I don't know, this developer, I don't know if he's ever released anything before in the past. That's a very good question. But, you know, looking at the quality of the work that was done here, I really have to say that there's no way I would ever assume that this was his first project. I don't know if it is or not, but there's just no way that I would assume that. Ooh, we've got like some dancing textures here. What is that about? That's interesting. Let me move to the outside real quick. Yeah, those are some dancing textures there. That's kind of weird. I don't know what's up with that. There might be textures maybe overlapping or something like that. But I mean, look at the depth in these building textures here. And River UK is saying that all it needs is some people moving around. Actually, you're absolutely right. That is the only thing this is missing, is some kind of like people flow technology, isn't it? Even some statics wouldn't be bad, because it does look a bit ghost townish. And here we can see the earliest part of the scenery here, which is this photo reel, which was from the very first images that were shown. And there we have like the little airport logo there. Very nice. Look at that. I mean, it's this little attention to detail. Like here you have these little curbs, and where you walk, you see how that's been kind of smoothed out. Just little things like that that make all the difference. Even all the little signs here. In fact, you know what? Hang on a second. We're going to bring out Avatar Guy. He's not going to run his mouth tonight because he's tired too. But I can't help it. I gotta walk around here a little bit and take a look at these. These features. I mean, you've got the sign here, very nice. Ooh, some stuttering textures there. Come on, stop with the moonwalk crap. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get away from the helicopter. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Here we have some signs kind of lining up the road here as well. Whoever wants me to read the signs, okay, they don't look like they're really high resolution, but let's take a look. It looks like says Egyptian, British, and then by, and then the rest of it is not really discernible. I don't know how to read Arabic, so obviously this ain't going down. Unless you guys do, and you can write down in the chat what it says. Oh, Crawley is saying there's so many things that eat you and bite you in Australia. Misha says, I don't know where that comes from. Yeah, I know where that comes from. There's this, I guess, this sort of, you know, nomer that Australia, being the desert that it is, that most of the world's most dangerous creatures live in Australia. The ones that are most likely to kill you come from Australia, I guess, that sort of thing. So anyway, none of this is hardened, so he's going to just walk right through this. But this is a nice little, like, cafe. I'm not sure if this is a cafe or it's just a place to sit and kind of hang out. But very nice, very nicely done. There is some glass here on one end, and the other end is kind of nice and open. You've got these nice potted plants, vegetation, and what have you. Again, a very, very nice touch. Lots of attention to detail here. Let's see, more signs on there. Look about the same. And this is the little Port Galib area that we already saw on our way up here. Even the signs are like somewhat elevated above the wall here. You can see how that was done as well. Very nice. Ooh, why is that building disappearing? In Port Galib Hospital. A little advertising for that. That's kind of weird how that building, so that disappears when I look away. I don't know, that's kind of weird. You got your little Coke machine over here. The detail is really nicely done here. Even just look at the textures on the ground that he's walking on now. Look at that. This sort of brick, these little brick, what do you call them? Like the little lines there. Oh, did I walk through the pole? Little Coke machine. You'd think that the developer, he had to have actually visited here, right? Because he's got the detail down quite well. Some of these other signs, a little too dark to be able to kind of read them. Let's head back over to our helicopter. We'll fly around onto the other side. I mean, every little bit. So far, I have no complaints. I mean, there were some flickering textures. The textures you see flickering now, I wouldn't pay much attention to because Avatar Guy kind of just makes everything flicker when he walks around. So I really wouldn't worry about that too much. But aside from that, this is really good. Come on, Misha, let me get your opinion. I know you're watching this. Let's hear one developer comment on the work of another. Chris is asking, after I do a stream and I am at the airport, do I still get flickering textures? The only thing that's creating these flickering textures that you're seeing now is Avatar Guy. That's it. So like, for example, if you look up at the upper left and you see like that airport sign flickering and all those signs down there in the parking lot flickering, once I get out of Avatar mode, they disappear. That's, Misha can probably explain to you why that happens, but that has nothing to do with the scenery. That's just an Avatar thing. You see now, it's not flickering anymore. And then if I pan back to those signs in the parking lot, you'll see they're not flickering anymore either. So that's just a thing that's kind of related to the Avatar. All right, let's pick it back up. And let's head over to the air side of the terminal. Just taking a look at the 3D modeling here of this building. So another developer, I think that was FSDG as well, they released their version of Marsa Alam, and it actually looked quite good. Based on the preview screenshots that I saw, it actually looked quite good. And I think if it wasn't for the fact that this scenery was finally getting close to release, I probably would have, reached out for that one. But finally, now that the information from this one started coming through, I was like, no, I've got to hold out. I've waited this long, I can wait a little bit longer. Ooh, let's get away from that tail rotor, shall we? These are some nice looking palm trees. Look at these trees. Again, ignore the stuttering, little flickering textures because that's Avatar Guy. He's like an Egyptian god. Things just stutter when he walks into the room. Like, yeah. And here we have the little baggage carousels here. Look at the way this was done too. Very nice. And Crawley says the quality here is approaching that of 29 Palms. Look at that. Very cool. And even like the ground textures where the entrances are, I mean, just very lovely. Again, I hope this developer continues to keep up with developing, and I just hope that it won't be another 3.5-year wait before he gets to his next project. But if I had to compare the quality here, I'd probably compare it to like someone said there, 29 Palms. This is definitely like in that Yo Airland kind of range as well, quality-wise. I'm looking at some of the textures here, and it kind of reminds me of I forgot the name of that Caribbean scenery that he released. I think that was last year, or was that earlier this year? I can't remember. I think it was last year. Kind of similar to that. Very nice. Look at these little designs here on the wall too. which is pretty cool. Maybe this is like the little TSA security thing. Beep, 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 beep. Joking. Although maybe it could be, huh? Awesome. Let's head. And again, the ground textures here, very crisp. Even the paint markings here don't look too clean. It looks clean, but not clean clean. I don't know how to really convey that, but and this is I know already I'm gonna have a lot of fun flying into and out of this airport. I don't like doing flights that are too long, but certainly this is a good trip between here and Sharm el Sheikh, that's for sure. That's going to be a fun little flight between these two little destinations. Let's see who this is coming in on approach. And look at that. Perimeter fences surrounding the entire airfield. Wow, this guy's after my heart. And Misha says the scenery looks beautiful. I couldn't agree more. So again, as a reminder, you do get a choice in the control panel between a lighter and a darker variant of the PR coverage area. And I've elected for the darker one just to get more depth, because during certain times of the day, that PR can really look washed out when that sun's at high altitude. Oh, that's that Egypt Air regional carrier there. Cool. And there we have our fences surrounding the entire airport perimeter and a little service road going along that as well. And let's take a look at some of these other surrounding buildings here. Now, I don't think you're going to be flying any wide bodies in here, are you? Does this airport tolerate wide bodies? Let's look at the length of the runway first of all, because that'll be your first indication. Yeah, runways. Maybe not. Yeah, it looks like maybe you're only going to be flying narrow bodies in here. Take a look at these ground textures here. The concrete blocks versus the tarmac pavement. Versus the footpaths where they park the GSE. Look at all these different sort of variations of ground texturing here. This guy is this developer is the epitome of what I look for. I mean, he's got it all down. So far, I haven't found anything that I don't like about the scenery. I mean, he's got it all down. I mean, trust me, I would sound a lot more enthusiastic if it wasn't 3:26 a.m. and I wasn't like tired off my ass, but I am really, really impressed. I don't have anything negative to say so far at all. We have these nice little sheds here with more GSC down here. Looks like GPUs, pushback truck there. I think I saw. We got some stair trucks. What else is down there? Well, there is a main deck loader. So I don't know. And some of those pushback trucks are designed for larger aircraft, so who knows? So Misha says the scenery quality itself is superb, but can't say the location is spectacular. Actually, I like the location. I actually really like the location. I mean, granted, it's all just like vast desert with not much to see, but I'm digging it. I'm totally digging the location. I could see myself doing sorties between here and like Dubai in a smaller aircraft like Sky Dubai or something like that, or Doha. And then as a reminder, we've got quite a few developers working on more airports for sort of the Middle East, Asia, and African continent, stuff like that, that are in development that'll be coming out sometime between this year and next year. So a lot more airports to fill it, but I love it. It's something different, that's for sure. Here we have a little logistics area. Some buildings here. Again, like the way all the ground was done here, you can see nothing is sitting on top of photoreal, like every little piece of detail. Ooh, there's a little issue on that building there, some stuttering textures. A couple of trucks, some containers here. We've got some ground clutter. Little plants, trees. Nice vegetation too. Vegetation here is very well done. And then right outside, and again, all the roads here are hand-drawn roads. Nothing here is like just sitting on photoreal roads. I mean, this looks like a little like apartment complex here, or condominium complex here. And you can see all the roads were hand-drawn and put in. Nothing just sitting on top of like wanky photoreal. I mean, not that you could, because a photoreal I don't even know would have all this sitting on top of it, but still, I mean, look at that. And the quality of the cars are really detailed too. Like I can tell that some of these are Volvos and some of these are Volkswagens, and there's a Ford Focus and a Toyota RAV4. Like usually, you see a lot of developers and you're just looking at pixels with square wheels, and I mean here you can really actually make out the types of cars that are here. The sidewalks, I mean everything here. I might just have to go as far as if Air Daily X had a gold award, this would definitely get one. I can't find anything wrong with it. And all that little knick-knack, nitpick crap that I usually do, I can't find it. Look at the air conditioning ducts, or heater ducts, I guess it would be air conditioners, are included there. The quality of the rooftops. I don't have not one negative thing to say about this scenery. The fences are nicely done. Nice looking control tower there. I could go as far as to say maybe he could have done internal modeling, but listen, 3.5 years of development. Looking at Misha's probably thinking I could have done this in 2 days. So obviously, I'll count my blessings with this one. At least we got it. I'm not going to start getting nitpicky. This is a nice little, looks like a little soccer field here. Or football field. I guess I should say football. Very nice. All right. Here's what I don't like about this scenery. That little football goal there doesn't have a net around it. So there, now I found something. There's no net. The ball is just going to go flying away, and there's only one goal. So there, I found something horrible about the scenery. Very nicely done here. You have some more, which appears to be just some, I guess, logistics buildings, probably for the airport. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This stream actually is going a little bit longer than I thought it would. Let's take a look at the night lighting. We'll take a look at the airport night lighting and then make our way back out over to one of the little resort areas and see what the night lighting looks like. And then I'm going to go pass out. But you should definitely buy this airport because this is awesome. I mean, this is just so well done. I mean, I'm not even being funny. This is so well done. All right, let's put this thing down here. All right, let's take a look at the night lighting. 18. Wow, that was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's try 7 o'clock and see if that brings us to night. Crawley says he'll be purchasing this after the stream. Awesome. Let's see. And River says, looks like that AI jet even looks like he parked correctly. Mantalk Production says maybe they went to the location and there was no other goal. And there was probably no net either, so they got it that much accurate, right? Let's give ourselves a little bit of daylight. That night lighting already looks good, doesn't it? Shoot. Look at that. That already, I just want a little, just like a tinge of daylight. Before we go to full like dark. Come on, just a little bit, damn it. Hang on. Yeah, that's good enough. Sometimes nighttime can look like too dark. Ooh, Meridiana. Wow. Transavia hanging out down here. And that other airline that escapes me down there at the end. I should probably turn the lights on my little helicopter, huh? Take a look at the night lighting. I don't know how my helicopter lost its little eye point here, but let me just move this back up. And you even have a little bit of like volumetric night lighting here as well. Well, so far the night lighting is an A+ in my book. I like the way the tarmac is lit up as well. One of the things I was pointing out in the Jevitsky Baku was, well, that plane didn't line up properly, was that I felt the tarmac lighting was a little too dark. Night lighting was good, but the tarmac lighting was too dark. Here you can see it's very bright. Because the problem is your aircraft at night is just like so dark. So it's nice to see that, you know, have a tarmac that's kind of well lit at night. Look at how all these little light poles light up at night. I think this is one of those streams where I don't really need to say anything. I think this scenery is selling itself. I don't think there's really much of anything that I really need to say about it. Man, this is looking just great. This was worth the wait. I mean, a part of me says, you know, a scenery this small shouldn't take this long, but you know what? This was worth the wait. This was worth the wait. This is just incredible. Look at that freaking parking lot. That might just be the best parking lot I think I've ever seen. I guess the only down part I guess, if I have to come up with one, is I guess the photoreal on these entry areas here. Like just that little bit. I mean, I don't know what, how much better photoreal you can get, but that's the only thing that seems to kind of, if I have to gripe about anything, I guess I would say that's the only thing that kind of stands out to me, would be just that one little bit that doesn't seem to fit in. Like maybe the windows could have been done, maybe hand drawn or something like that. But that's really it. There's really nothing negative I can say. Look at how all the little lamps splash their little lights underneath. Fuck, this might just be one of my top 10 favorites. I think something's about to get bumped from my top 10 list. I mean, this is just that good. This airport is just that good. This is probably going to wind up knocking something off my list. I have to go back and think. Oh, look at that. There's a little sign right here. What does that say? I don't know what that says. But it's cool that it was added, though. Oh my God, is the developer here? Holy shit. I was not expecting this. Oh wow, I was not expecting this. This is this is kind of a shock. I was not expecting the developer to show up. Oh wow, this is funny. This is so funny. I had no idea. Well, Jetman, welcome. Pleasure to meet you. I did not know that the whole time the developer was sitting here. That's why you better watch your mouth, DeAndre, because you never know who's watching. Wow. Let's see here. He says that he stopped developing between 2012 and 2015. So sorry, but the next project will not take this long. Oh, wow. I had no idea. Now my head is starting to flood with questions, like what to ask. I guess one question would be to ask is what your name is, because I've been just referring to you as Jetman as opposed to what your actual name is. And Misha says the amount of time this has happened, I need to expect the unexpected. I don't know. I just naturally assume that no one of, I know that really is shitty to say that, but it's like no one of importance is actually watching these streams. But yeah, what can I say? I can't find anything wrong with it. I mean, I'll say this. Sasha is his name. Sasha. I will say this. I mean, damn, you knocked this one out of the park, man. And like you said, I mean, you stopped developing at some point, and I mean that happens. That's a fact of life. Real life happens, and real life has to take precedence. So at least it's good to know that you were able to overcome whatever it was that caused you to stop developing, to return to the project, and finally make it happen, bring it to release. It's an incredible feat, and you certainly have a real attention to detail. You have that eye, because there are a lot of little things that I look for. I'm one of those kind of attention to detail type freaks. And all the things that I would typically look for have been essentially covered. I mean, this is terrific attention to detail. And if it's one thing that I would say probably annoys me, is when airports of this size that are so small that lack detail. It's like, it's such a small scale project. Why not go the extra mile and add the parking lot, or add the vegetation, or whatever it is that gets left out. And like someone said earlier, the only thing that to me seems to have been left out of this scenery is just some kind of like animated people or something like that. I don't know if anything. Does FSDG have any people libraries? I have to think about that now. I really have to think about that, because that's really the only thing that's missing here. Is just a little bit of life. Everything else got the animated vehicles and everything else. And Misha's asking Sasha where he's from. He's from Bremen, Germany. Well, of course, most of the best developers are from Germany, unless they're from Australia. or England or the U.S. But yeah, this is just incredible. You know, I thought it was very interesting, and it doesn't really surprise me that this scenery wound up getting released through FSDG, because I remember when that first screenshot was posted, Thorsten was all over that. Thorsten, how do you pronounce his last name? Thorsten Reichert, something like that. He was all over that, because I think the first previews of this, I think you previewed, like, this is probably like the same year, like right after I think Sharm el Sheikh was released. So it's a good thing. I'm glad that, you know, you guys collaborated and got this to happen. I mean, look at the lights on this. This is great. I gotta say, this is superb attention to detail. Let's I guess we'll start to move our way away from the airport now. Kind of sad, because I don't want to leave now. I want to stay up and fly now, but I've got to get to bed. It's late. So let's work our way over to the resort area and see what that looks like at night. And Sasha saying that Thorsten really helped with the airport, and that's wonderful. I always say there's nothing better than developers coming together and collaborating, and that's why I troll that FS developer site. I am all over it all the time, because you just never know, like, what kind of talent is lurking in that website. And unfortunately, I mean, it's full of talent. That's without a doubt. But unfortunately, a lot of projects there just never come to fruition, and it's really sad. And that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to Misha's seminar at FlightSimCon coming up in a few weeks, because that's one of the things that, ooh, these buildings didn't get lit. That's one of the things that Misha points out, or is going to be talking about, is how to plan and complete your projects. And I think that's going to be great for a lot of new developers out there that are thinking about, or potential developers that are thinking about getting into it, or maybe they are developing a project and they're just having some trouble finishing it. I don't think these cars are default FS cars. I think this is part of the scenery, isn't it? Or maybe they are default. So I think that's going to be, I mean, that's going to be a seminar that's going to be worth just the price of admission alone, is to get that kind of feedback for anyone who's interested in scenery development. And I've been following Misha since, you know, his first scenery was just a trash can, and now look at where he is. And Misha, of course, will be giving a huge unveiling at FlightSimCon, the big unveiling, his biggest project ever. He's going to be unveiling, and I think it's just going to be terrific. So unfortunately, with FS Developer, a lot of these guys, they never finish, and it's sad, because there's so much talent out there, but it just isn't maybe nurtured the right way, or, you know, maybe they just don't, you know, have a means of going from beginning to end, or maybe real life just intervenes and it never gets completed. I mean, but I always lurk, because, you know, you never know. I mean, Amir from Flightbeam, you know, that's where he, you know, put the first previews of his first project, was in FS Developer. So I used to take a lot of criticism from people in the past, saying, you know, why do you go there, and stuff there is not meant for you to be talking about and previewing. Stuff there is for internal people to get help from each other. And I always wrote that off, because that is kind of like the indie developers forum, where developers can go and get help from each other, and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And so it's a perfect place to lurk in the shadows and look for talent. And I can say it's been paying off. It's certainly been paying off hanging out there. And this scenery is certainly a perfect testament to that. So, Sasha, I really want to tip my hat off to you, because you've done a job well done. Again, I wish I sounded more enthusiastic, because I'm just so tired, and it's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's my second stream in like 12 hours. But I am really enthusiastic about this. I mean, when I saw those previous screenshots come out again, and it looked far better than I could have thought. But now that it's in my hands, I'm just like, wow, I'm freaking blown away. So if this is your first scenery project, I mean, holy crap. I mean, what a way to go, Mozart. I mean, seriously. So nicely done. And let's see. Let's take one last look in comments. And I think the guys here in the chat, 35 people joining me for such a late stream, so that's awesome. Let's see here. Let me catch up on some of the comments here really quickly. I think someone said they just bought it. I love to hear that. I love that. Let's see here. Let me see if I can keep my helicopter from crashing while I try to pour through the list of comments here. Sorry. Let's see. So again, River, you were saying you need an airport close to Marsa Alam because you don't like long flights. Like I said, Sharm el Sheikh, and I really wanted to, I thought this would be the perfect pair. Sharm el Sheikh is not far at all. It's only 200 miles away. And I really wanted to do that in the stream, but for some reason the installer didn't work. I don't know why. So I'll have to reach out to Emilios and see what happened there, because I really wanted to show the two. Sharm el Sheikh is really well done too. You have all that slate, really nicely done airport over there. So River said a little bit further back, I'm pretty much sold on this. Hope the developer adds some people in later. Let's see. Still trying to fly and read comments. Sorry. And Mantalk says he's finally glad to be able to catch one of my streams live for once. Yes, I know. I'm trying to do a better job of actually announcing when I'm going to do these streams, as opposed to just, doing them and, letting whoever tunes in, tune in. Let's see. And Sasha said a little bit further back, he says he's actually not surprised by how positive I am. I guess maybe you've been watching my streams and we're like, all right, let's see where he's going to rip this apart, and then let me just handle that now, and then he won't have anything to say. Well, I mean, if that was your goal, you accomplished it, because I don't have anything. I'm singing praises, man. So you already knew. I have nothing bad to say. I'm freaking loving this. Let's see. But aside from that, that net missing from the goalpost there, yeah, that was just a total failure. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, hey, pat yourself on the back, because that's the only bad thing I can say. I had to come up with something. I can't let a stream go by and not find something. Let's see here, just scrolling down a bit. Well, I'm very excited. I'm wondering where what you're gonna work on next. I already know it's gonna be good, so that's a good thing. I already know it's gonna be good. So looking forward to your next previews whenever that'll come. All right. And Misha says as well to Sasha, looking forward to your future works as well. Yep. And River says building looks good. No silly over bright buildings at night. I mean, this is just, it's perfect. I'm like, perfect. Oh, Sasha says he never expected such a good review. That's sarcasm. You knew it was good. I mean, listen, people who put in this kind of work in detail, you knew it was good. I don't give away awards because I think it's kind of like weird to give someone a gold award and then, it's like a little logo that developers put on their websites. And whereas it's really positive for developers to get these awards, but I'm the kind of person where if I'm going to give you an award, like I need to actually mail you a freaking award. Like if you're gonna win an award for something, it's not enough to just give you a logo, and I know that goes far for a lot of people, and it says a lot to say the Air to Daily X Gold Award of Excellence. But if I don't actually like send a developer an award, then there's just no point. And the problem is, I'd be sending these things out like candy. So it really wouldn't mean anything after a certain point, because so many developers, I mean, eventually you guys will be using them to like prop up your bookshelves and stuff, because it's like, oh, damn it, Misha released another airport, there's another gold award, you know. Let me just send this out in advance before he releases it, because we already know what it's going to be. So, you know, now I got to spend money on that. But anyway, so Sasha's on his lunch break, and we're gonna let him get back to work. I think that's pretty much it. And Chris has asked me, is the frames hitting high? The frames are hitting almost too high, because I actually had to dial them back, because what happens is when the frames get so high, the aircraft like shoots away. So the frames were like hitting 100 at some point. So I had to actually limit the frames to 60 just to keep those like lurches from happening. So and Chris says, really great work, Jetman. And Sasha says, well, it's good for me, but it doesn't mean it's also meeting others' expectations. So listen, don't worry about anyone else. Just listen to me. You did a perfect job. This is perfect. Trust me. This is perfect. There's nothing else to be said. I think, you know, at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is the location and, you know, where people like to fly. A lot of people still kind of have that modus operandi of flying, I guess, in places that they know. They go where they know. And, you know, I think that's a trend that's really dying now. I think a lot of people nowadays are looking at these new exotic locations and are kind of looking at it in a sense just like real life. You know what? I've never been there before, so I'm going to buy the scenery and go be there for the first time. 90% of the sceneries I own, I've never been there in real life. And you know, it's a great thing when you buy a scenery and then you go visit there and then you're like, wow, this is how good the developer did this, that sort of thing. So nevertheless, again, wonderful job, and it's great that this was released under the FSDG brand, which means you're going to get good support, and you're going to get a good quality product that's backed by, you know, a well-known name. And I look forward to the next project from Sasha. I know it's already going to be good, and I'm looking forward to cheerleading it all the way to the finish line. Absolutely. So very well done. And this one, I think this airport has made it in my top 10. I just got to figure out what's getting knocked to number 11. And that's not even to say this is 10. This could be 7. This is huge. I mean, this is really huge. This is great. So really well done. So thanks everyone for tuning in and keeping me company. It is about 6 minutes to 4 a.m. My voice is getting cracky and my throat is dry. And again, I don't sound as enthusiastic as I am, so I'm trying to let my words kind of just like, you know, be the fanboy, you know, be the little girl that's like, it's so cute, it's great, it's perfect. But nevertheless, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Marsa Alam, published by Flight Simulation Development Group and developed by Sasha with some assistance from Thorsten. I certainly hope you all enjoyed today's, or rather tonight's live stream, and I certainly look forward to bringing you another live stream again in the future. As always, my name is DeAndre, and this is AirDailyX.net. Head over to Flight Simulation Development Group and purchase your copy of Marsa Alam today. Good night.